Hey everyone, Reid Henrichs with Ridge, and the purpose of today's video is to talk about dry practice and dry fire. A lot of people believe that you've got to go to the range and shoot a bunch of rounds, to get better at things. And although it may or may not help you, the overwhelming majority of your practice should be dry. In fact, I would say that it should be 10 to 1. For every live round that you shoot, you should be doing 10 practices with your gun in the dry practice or dry fire condition. If you look at some of the really good shooters out there in the world, they dry practice far more than they live fire. Good news about dry fire and dry practice is that it's free. You can do it inside of your house, your apartment, your condo, wherever it is that you live, and as long as you follow the procedures that I'm about to outline for you, it will be effective, it will be reliable practice for you, it will be free, and you will be that much more proficient without having to waste a lot of money on ammunition that may or may not be beneficial. So where should you do this? Well, in your home. Just pick a room, dedicate it to dry practice and dry fire. If you live in an apartment or you live in real close proximity to people or there's people in that direction, what I would recommend doing is if you have a basement, do this in the basement. If you don't have a basement, it's a simple fix. If you don't have a basement or you don't have anywhere where there's a direction where there's no people, just grab a Kevlar vest or some plates or whatever it is and use that to aim in on and do your dry practice. Alright, it's a simple thing, doesn't take long to set up, and you'll find the benefits are pretty rewarding. So now that we covered the why and the where, let's cover the how. What is the first thing that you're going to do when you're about to do dry practice? Well, go to that room, go to that specific location that you do your dry practice. I like to say out to myself, out loud, I like to say I'm going to be conducting dry practice starting now. So when I say that, that gives me a mental reminder and I actually know what I'm doing, that I'm only doing dry practice. First things first, what we're going to do is we're going to do a proper draw. So, proper draw. Alright, I'm beginning dry practice. First thing you do, clear your gun. Remove your magazine, eject your live round, let it fall. It's clear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ammo. I'm going to take all that ammunition out of the room. Alright, just take it out of there. Put that ammunition out of the room. Alright, I'm going to clear my gun. I'm checking the chamber. I am looking for an empty chamber and an empty magazine well. Cool. I'm going to check that again. I've got an empty chamber and an empty magazine well. Alright, so now that we've got a clear gun, there's not any ammunition in there, there's no ammo in the gun, there's no ammunition in the room, what I'm going to do is we're going to put it back in the holster. Now when we dry practice, guys, what we've got to do is work on proper technique. We can work on proper technique first, then build up to speed. Alright, speed comes from efficiency, and efficiency comes through correct repetition. So, proper draw, we've already done videos on how to draw your gun. So I start off by doing a proper draw, hands on the gun, rip it up, good grip, good presentation, front sight right there. Now, we're going to do that again. Okay, we're going to do a proper draw again. Clear the cover garment, good grip, proper presentation of the pistol, front sight, and reholster in the exact reverse of how it comes out. Alright, so one more time on a proper draw. Clear the cover garment, proper grip, proper presentation, front sight, and there. Now you'll notice I did presentations without touching the trigger on that one. Okay, on this one what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start touching the trigger. I'm going to actually start moving the trigger back as I'm pushing it forward. So we clear the cover garment, good grip, present the pistol, trigger finger, and front sight. Alright, we do this a few times. Alright, we can do this a few times and we're working on our presentation. When we actually get to the part where we press the trigger, what we're going to do is we already have seen our front sight and already established a proper grip a bunch of times. Alright, other things you can work on besides your draw and clearing your cover garment and trigger control. Other things you can work on, one-handed stoppage clearance, if you press the trigger and once again nothing happens, move it, tap it, rack it off your belt, get right back in there and do that. Dummy rounds come in very handy here. If you want to put dummy rounds, those bright yellow or orange plastic dummy rounds, that's cool. As I said, I don't bring any live ammunition in the room where I dedicate to dry practice. I just don't do it. Alright, so what we do, guys, we got to establish these good habits. We can also work on loading, reloading with those dummy rounds, one-handed, two-handed, whatever, and all those things will come into play. If you get interrupted for any reason whatsoever, start this entire process over again. Clear the gun, check it again. Say out loud, I'm about to begin my dry practice, my dry fire. If you do 5 to 10 minutes of this a day, you'll really start reaping the rewards. You know, when we have students come to class, we can really tell those that have done their dry practice in between our classes. We can really tell which ones have done it, which ones have not done it. You know, the ones that have done it come in, hit the ground running, and the ones that haven't, you know, they have to pick up all over again. So I recommend that, doing dry practice whenever you can. One last thing, guys, you can do this with a rifle too. It's the exact same procedure with the rifle. Clear it, check it again. No ammo in the room where you go. I think you'll find that dry practice is the way to go. And I know we all can't make it to the range, you know, every day. Some of us can, some of us can't. But when we can't make it to the live fire, dry practice needs to be it. And in fact, I would, you know, 90% of my practice is dry, with 10% being live fire. So if you found the information in the video helpful, like us on Facebook, subscribe to us, and if you really want to get some training on that pistol or that rifle, come on out to Valor Ridge and we'll teach you how to do just that. This is Reid Henrichs with Valor Ridge, reminding you, the lessons that we learn are written on the tombstones of others. We'll see you on the ridge.